That was weird. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dakota Franson. I am the CEO of the Bonkers Network. Tonight, Chris has the night off because, well, I don't know. After yesterday's episode with the penis explosion, I think it may have struck a little too close to home to Chris because it talked about a fatal outcome to something he's been doing. I'm just joking. My God. Oh, Lordy. It wouldn't be Baldwin Bonkers without some sort of insanity, right? Well, being that Chris is taking tonight off because he does seem to have a lot on his mind lately, I'm here to address some things about the company, some things that might be misconstrued about how we've been doing things, and what's coming up. All sorts of like fun and exciting stuff. Yes? Because I'll admit, because of how things have been running with the company, it may seem like we're kind of all over the place. Part of this is because we got into this not exactly knowing what we were doing. We tried to imitate some things that just weren't working. And you know what? We've learned. We're growing. You know, considering from where Chris and I started when we did the first episode to where it is now, my God. And being that's the case, obviously there's going to be some people that are going to make their assumptions about what's really going on. And I'm here to elaborate on that. Because it seems to be the source of some controversy. I know, Chris, you said not to talk about it. Oh, they're going to get everybody fighting. Well, you know, guess what? I'm done. I don't like playing fair. I firmly believe in admitting up front right away that there's a situation so that way it can be handled. Not this dancing around crap that a majority of this community likes to do. So, with Bald and Bonkers, a couple things I want to address first. It's like, what the hell is our intentions? Because through some of the fights that have been gone on, through some of the members that have came on board, it seems that there's been some assumptions. First off, that we're not serious about what we do just because we like to joke around. Have you seen the mental cases? In both the investigators and some of our clients. If you have any sort of interest in this sort of topic, you would probably qualify for some sort of mental illness. And I'm not saying that to be judgmental, I'm saying that knowing that I am in that demographic. Which means I'm part of that group. Oftentimes what brings people into the supernatural is often a situation, it may be a situation of abuse. Or maybe they just had a fascination with the subject. Or maybe they had their aha, maybe the stuff real moment from a time that was really hard in their life. And it served as sort of an escape. Then it just kind of took on a life of its own. I should really be careful with that wording because I swear some of these people want to live in some sort of live action Dungeons and Dragons. But that's a discussion for another time. So what are the intentions with the company? With the shows, Bald and Bonkers, Lost Magics, Inner Quartz, I guess you can say Ghost Squad Scotland, but that's mostly Chris's thing. Or any of the programs I help put out. Yes, it is to talk and discuss and go into supernatural subjects, ghosts, cryptids, demonology, ufology. You know, I'm putting that all under the same umbrella to clarify. And yes, we want to present an open and fun environment. Because, like I said, everybody has a mental case. There's quite a few people who may have had issues with drugs at some point in their life, and what have gotten better. So credit where credit is due. For those that have had that issue but have gotten better. For those of you who have not, get help. Seriously. Get help before you totally destroy yourself. As much as I like to joke around and have fun, we also have to acknowledge that there's some very serious situations that may unfold when you go into this type of subject. As with any part of life, you may deal with a situation where someone believes they're being haunted by a spirit because they tried to take their own life. They may be going through a rough patch in their relationship, or they may just found out they're sick. Or they just had a genuine interest, but they don't want to deal with these fucking drama. Seriously, this community seems like it's a overgrown high school. Knock that shit off. We want this to be a fun and open community because this stuff affects everybody. It's not just some idiot white person or drugged out. It's not just one demographic experiencing these types of things. And because they may be homosexual, maybe they're trans, they feel like there's going to be some reason that they're judged because they believe in this type of stuff. We need to kill that judgment right now. We need to kill it. Whether it's because you're jealous of how well someone's doing, or you disagree with their points. We need to kill this fucking drama because it does no good. We want Bald and Bonkers, everything associated with it, to be a fun and open environment, but still be open to discussing what's serious. Hopefully it's happy, serious situations, but nevertheless, we want it to reflect life as much as life reflects within the supernatural and defines it entirely. But at the same time, that brings about a lot of judgment. Chris and I wanted a free and open platform because there was a situation where certain people didn't agree with our approach. And because of circumstances going on at that time, people go on a power trip. And you might say, oh, Dakota, you've done it yourself. Yeah, I know I have, okay? I'm trying to be better about it. And for those of you trying to request those bridges get mended, we have mended it to be civil, to put stuff behind us. However, both parties involved in those situations agreed to go their own separate paths because it's better for them. Okay? I will address that now. Because I have noticed it, and it's probably because I have fired off before. And I'm not afraid to fire off again if I have to. Try to bring up certain ideas. Now, if you have an idea for a new show, for a new topic we may have not discussed, and I know, Dobby, if you happen to be watching, yes, I've reached out to some people to try to get shows involving some of your ideas. It's just been a matter of scheduling. So, we're working on it, I promise you. Because very interesting topics. Very interesting topics. The 1 hour format won't do them justice, but we'll work with it as we run. Which leads me into my second point. And if you're wondering if I'm looking off screen, yeah, I've written down some notes to try to keep this as streamlined as possible because I know I have a tendency to bounce everywhere. The second point I wanted to get to was that Chris and I also wanted a platform to where we can help out the little guy. Why do I want to address this point is because people who've been concerned that we've been trying to target high-profile guests. And well, we mentioned later. Well, here's the thing. We all know that YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all these platforms have major algorithms that choke everybody out unless you're willing to do some morally dubious things. Or do some very, very basic imitations of what's already been done. And so if you want to go into content creation for any reason, it chokes you out. Especially if you go into the YouTube discussion. Underage girls revealing themselves online, perfectly okay by these algorithms. But discuss a very real phenomenon that's taking place in the modern day. My channel got flagged for... My channel, Specialist of the Strange, actually had a terrorist flag trying to promote terrorism ideals. Okay? Because I posted a UFO documentary by Dr. Greer that he allows to be shared out like that, so long as you follow certain criteria. And because of everything that's going on, like I said, it chokes out content creation. And when you're dealing with the supernatural as your niche topic, whatever you want to use, whatever topic you want to use, whatever label I should say, perhaps that's even more so. Dave Schrader and Barry Fitzgerald, when they came on, I'll admit, when I found out that we were getting Barry on the show, I started dancing in the grocery store I worked at. I was worried Chris was gonna have a fucking heart attack when I told him we landed Dave Schrader. Yes, we were genuinely excited because this was some of our heroes. But at the same time, when we did those interviews, they also revealed some dark sides. Like for one, I think it was Brian J. Laverty that brought up this name change idea. And Dave pointed it out as why Holzer Files didn't do so high. It's the fact that we didn't specify in the title that it is a paranormal-based show. Holzer Files, unless you're seriously hardcore into the paranormal, chances are you're not going to know who Hans Holzer is. Or why that's even relevant. So, trying to indicate that there's some sort of paranormal basis to get people's attentions. And Brian thought, well, maybe change it to Bald and Bonkers Paranormal. I get what he was saying, honestly, because the man's dealt with showbiz, so he knows the environment as well, as much as I do. The logic behind this, having to specifically specify that it's paranormal in the name, is the same reason why a jar of peanuts you buy in the store has to have an allergy warning saying may contain peanuts. As in, no shit, right? It's the same reason why, I'll give it a real life example that happened to me. I was working at the Walmart deli and a woman brought up a fried chicken thing, right? Just a typical 8-piece dinner fried chicken. This woman holds it up and says, how many pieces of chicken are in this 8-piece fried chicken? The thing that disappointed me, to be completely honest, full disclosure here, is that she had a teenage son with her, who looked like he would be about the age where he would smart off to his parents for making remarks like that. He said nothing. So disappointed. But nevertheless, while I understand the point behind it, say like the name I use when I go out on my own, Specialist of the Strange. It has a nice superhero feel to it, doesn't it? and anybody who's actually dealt with me. Now, there's some people who try to draw skepticism. Shut up, you! I'm dealing at the notifications on my phone. There's some people who tried to draw skepticism. Most of them were, damn near all of them, I should say, tried to say I was fake because they were ticked off that I called them out on something. That was their only comeback. I mean, really? All I gotta say is, really? That's all you got? I know some people, there's a lot of people who are followers online that that's all they need, but really? If you're gonna try to talk shit about somebody, you wanna try to call them out for saying something, maybe you should actually do some more work to call them out. I mean, I've seen it. They try to poke fun at the fact that I tend to talk with my hands. Or they tend to get nervous sometimes on fucking lives. Assholes. Yeah, I know. I'm going into it. I'm reeling back, I promise. Specialist of the Strange. Gives it a nice superhero name, right? Doesn't necessarily say it's involving the supernatural, but it's just enough in there. Bald and Bonkers. Yeah, that sounds more like a comedy show. But that's the whole point. It was kind of an inside joke to kind of describe the dynamic between me and Chris. But for some of you who don't know, it's like, for those of you who realize I'm kind of younger, why is it that a guy Chris's age is, you know, buddy up with someone my age, even though technically Chris and I have never met in person? Well, aside from potential ET connections, yeah, y'all have to realize I have an uncle who was kind of like my brother growing up. That's Chris's age. And Chris has a niece he's very close with who's about my age. So that tends to, that's why the kind of the dynamics there. It's almost like a familiarity thing. And plus, bald and bonkers. The alliteration alone helps it roll off the tongue. I mean, what do you expect us to call ourselves? Balding? Boring? Yes, that has the same roll of the tongue, but nah. But still, bald and bonkers. It engages curiosity. Like, what the hell? What is this show about? To which we need to come up with a new slogan, which I think I might have something for a little later down the line. It engages you. It catches your attention to where you're just curious enough to check it out. And it's just simply marketing. And that's why the name stuck. It's a reference to an inside joke that has a life of its own. And in this journey, we learned a lot about how to grow and develop both as a person and as content creators. I mean, part of the struggle when it comes to content creation is that because of the aforementioned algorithms, you almost have to post every single day, if not at least minimum twice a week. And that is very dependent on what platform you're using. Or if, considering there's certain OnlyFans creators that admitted to sleeping around with Facebook employees to get their profiles back. There's some other factors that play into that as well, but we won't go into that right now. There's a bias that gets built up when it comes to these types of projects. There's a bias for when maybe you get lucky enough and land a network gig, like on Sci-Fi. Barry Fitzgerald, he admitted that he was almost fired from Ghost Hunters International because he didn't necessarily want to play by their rules. And unfortunately, that's a fact. When you deal with the paranormal, you're almost forced to make compromises. Unfortunately, with some people, involves getting into some sort of cliques. And like, really? Some of y'all are almost old enough to be my grandparents. And you're wanting to act like high schoolers? But then again, that goes back into why we want it to be an open and friendly environment. Because not only in mental cases, chances are you deal with the supernatural, you're an outcast of some kind. Sorry, my cats are just knocked out the fucking blanket I had in my window to block out the sun. Perks of night shift life, right? Anyway, my apologies. Anyway, like as I was saying, there's a lot going into. You go into a network job, you're forced to exaggerate certain things in order to stay on the air. If you somehow get into these top secret government projects, you're pretty much cut off from your family, from everything that's truly important in life. You can't talk about the stuff you're involved with, hardly even with people that you worked on with inside the company. There's active suppression efforts. It's just been brought to my attention. There's actually a former NASA employee that's trying to whistleblow. I need to reach out to them. But still. And yes, compromises are a part of life. But with content, when you want to create content, you shouldn't have to. Yes, there's censorship warnings and content ratings and stuff like that, and that's one thing. You shouldn't have to compromise who you are to do what you love. Otherwise, it kills the whole point. When it's content creation, entrepreneurship, people don't realize these fields get very dark. And there's a very high rate of suicide, of mental illness, because people can't physically handle what goes on. And when you start gaining traction, the amount of shit that gets thrown at you, oh my God. Gary Vee, a gentleman who I would love to meet one day, constantly says that if you want to truly become successful, you gotta learn how to eat shit. And it's hard. You'll have your friends. Now granted, if they turn on you like this, they're not truly your friends. You'll have family members, they'll turn against you because you're gaining traction. Because when you start to become successful, they can't help but look inward and say, what am I doing wrong? And maybe some will even go as far as falsifying criminal allegations in order to try to make someone look bad. I mean, I've seen it. People tried to call me fake because I was calling them out on very criminal activity. And while I do apologize for how I could have handled some of those situations a lot more professionally, I'm not necessarily sorry for calling it out, because that's just my moral compass. If I see something I don't agree with, I may start to try to ask questions to try to understand the other person's point of view. But if someone thinks going on I agree with, I will not stand. You will not get me to comply. You want me to comply? There's going to be one way to do it. Shut up and stay the hell out of my way. Because clearly, you're too stupid to know what's actually going on. And that's why I don't like taking orders from anybody, to be completely honest. But at the same time, in these, I'm just going to kick my own ass here for a second. See how I'm kind of rambling off? That makes it harder to really focus on what you're trying to do. Yeah, I'm just crossing off my notes here. That makes it harder for what you want to try to do. So what is Bald and Bonkers trying to do? Well, the shows want to present a fun and open climate for paranormal discussion because, let's just say, even though it is slowly becoming a bit more open of a topic because of everything going on in the world, there's still a lot of stigma behind it. I know Dave was, right, and rightfully so, skeptical, but when I said that there was an facility that reached out to me for a consultation, that still blows my mind. I mean, psychologists are starting to acknowledge the paranormal. Now, granted, a lot of it is because they are fans of the shows themselves. Some therapists I've spoken to about my situations, when they found out I was into this type of thing, some of them, yeah, they were a little skeptical, but some of them honestly got so intrigued by what I had to say, and some of them even said that they may have had experiences of their own to where they became a lot more open-minded about the topic. And they were at least somewhat knowledgeable to where, at the very least, it created a comfortable enough atmosphere for their clients to truly open up and get help for whatever issues they may be having. And every now and then, some of them have come to me for consultations on what they can do to help certain individuals. Technically, yes, you can argue that it's illegal, but as long as they don't mention specific names or locations, they can reach out to anybody who they need to be completely honest. And that's often where I get a lot of my information when it comes to certain events. But going back to what I was saying, yes, there's a lot of stigma behind the topic, but at the same time, we can create an environment to help change the stigma, you fucking cats! Oh, god damn it. Sorry, my cats are being assholes. Just knocked over all my shit. Ugh! Bad girl! What was I saying? Yeah, anyway. With these, I don't know, that just completely threw off my point, but with everything that goes on, we can create a better environment easily. We can still have fun, but still ask questions. We can still question, be openly skeptical, but respectful. You know what I mean? Don't just go online saying, oh, I think he's fake. Stop, kill the fucking drama and cut all ties with anybody who shows that that's all they want to do is just stir up drama just because they're angry at themselves. Kill them. And that's honest, serious advice I offer anybody. Because if you want to pursue this type of thing, you're going to have people pick you apart. And that's why I like to joke. Because I am serious about the topic. But I also know that I've been deep down enough or in the rabbit hole to know enough that people need help. And sometimes the only thing you can do is offer a smile. Or, secondly, the other common concern I've been in is the fact that we try to get high-profile guests, like Dave Schrader and Barry Fitzgerald, and Elena Denon as examples. Yeah. The aforementioned algorithms put a chokehold on a lot of creators, and so if you're able to network and work with these high-profile individuals, it can help you. It's why we have an IMDb set up for the shows, because not only does it provide a guest book, but it also backs up credits. For all these high-profile guests, it links us to them until IMDb for some reason goes to shut down. Knock on wood. And it's a free exposure with one of the largest companies in the world. You go to Google right now, Bald and Bonkers. Chances are the IMDb page is the first thing that pops up. Completely free. IMDb is a bit of a hassle to set up, I will admit, but it's still useful because you want exposure. Chris and I, when we wanted this, we wanted an open environment to talk about these discussions, and we also wanted to help the little guy. Look at what happened when we introduced Mike the Naked Bigfoot to Dave Schrader. Y'all seen the show. That was one of the happiest Mike looked like an overgrown 5-year-old with a beard. He was so excited. I don't know, I'm thinking about Mike, you know. Feels weird knowing that he's not among the living. But rest in peace, my brother. And we network cast this with Elena Denon. And they're still friends. I consider Elena Denon a dear friend of mine because she's been helping me try to understand the ET situation a hell of a lot more. It's honestly a great feeling when you find people that understand you. We want to try to bring that into the network. We want to expand into business, further business opportunities. There may just be a time where people can invest in Bald and Bonkers if they want to. There's a lot of litigation that I got to go through, so no, it's not available yet. Some of you invest. But there's going to be business acquisitions where we start buying shares of other companies. We have distributors for music, books. We can help distribute movies even. All the plans I've talked about, they're already set up. The gunpowder trail is already laid down. All it takes is to light the match to get it going. We have press partners to put out press releases to help promote things further. We can put fucking Bald and Bonkers on a billboard if we wanted to. Why do I say all this? It's because we want to try to bring in as many people as possible. Like I said, for the documentary, you may have heard me mention that I want to make this as open and inclusive of a project as possible. I mean, here, you can look at one of the latest concept posters right here. I want the documentary to be as open and inclusive as possible. Yes, it may focus solely on my story, but that's because it's my story. I can tell my story without too much hassle, and it's what I have the most information on. Tell them, and we're gonna. It's an open project. We want to try to get as many people involved from as many different backgrounds to show that yes, we're all in this. We're all in this together. We all equally benefit if it works out, as we are all equally as royally fucked if something goes wrong. Bit exaggerated, but I think it puts out my point. Why do we go for high-profile guests? For one, it helps the company grow. It helps us reach out to other people. It shows that we're putting on enough effort. And it gives us an opportunity to learn something new we may have not even considered. I mean, we want to learn, right? We want to grow. We want to network. And with all these other projects, we can create a basic background where, say, we release a book and it's in the back. There's we can run product placement for our own members. Say in the background of a documentary, you'll see a copy of the book. Or we have a musician put out a new song. We promote it on one of the main shows. We use it as a theme. We even set up a database where people can buy the rights to utilize these works to maybe for a small price. We want to try to keep it as either free or as low cost as possible, just so we can help as many people as we can. Let's see, I'm just going over my notes to make sure I'm hitting everything. In order to do that, I do have some time off from my day job coming up very soon, so I'm going to have some time to finally do some rework in the company. My first goal is to rework the budget, and it's something I've already started on. I am going to be utilizing a different platform for the merchandise store, just because the one we have now is just not performing as well as I would hope, and it's brought more issues with potential identity theft. It means I was utilizing that to try to set up an easy payment center for some of our other services we plan to offer down the road, but we'll figure something out. We always do. We're also going to be getting rid of some of our paid podcast distributing points. As some of you know, the shows get distributed in both video and audio formats. There might be some version exclusive shows coming up very soon. We'll see how everything unfolds. We got rid of these distribution partners just because we felt that it was not performing as well as we would hope. And we want to allocate our efforts into areas we know are going well, right? So the funds that we're going to these platforms are going to be allocated in, one of the places it's going to be allocated into is the Bald and Bonkers TV network. For those of you who don't know, we have an online TV network set up to where you can just watch 24-hour streams. It's like old-fashioned TV, 24-hour, 7 days a week, constant streaming of Bald and Bonkers related content. And because everyone is allowed to promote their own little side things, my gaming videos, Smith family has their investigations, Sherry has her thing, we have Brian J. Laverty promoting Global Ghost Hunt and Parapost and Huntophobia on there. This is a platform that allows us all to really allocate our resources into one spot without compromising anything. By allocating more funds, we open up more features from our provider. More videos we can actually include. Different features we can offer. Part of the plan is to offer channel leases. So if you want a channel of your own, we can help you up. It'll be a monthly or annual lease. More information will be available once that is set up. Then we also will have channels opened up to where a variety of people can jump on completely for free. Right now we have Para-Unity TV, so if you have any paranormal based content that you would like to get out to potentially 90,000 more viewers, or more, just wait, okay? 90,000 viewers or more, without having to do anything extra, let me know. We can get you syndicated. And once you're syndicated with us, you'll be promoted with us. As Bald and Bonkers grow, everybody else grows. Okay? And the more you jump in and get active, the more you grow on your own. And you still help the company grow. We scratch your back, you scratch our back. Simple as that. And once we have enough people behind us on the TV network, We can actually get ourselves onto Apple TV, iOS, Android, Amazon Fire, Roku. We can have those available to us as well. Global distribution, and we can even provide premium channels, premium-based content. What's there to lose? And like I said, and plus it'll give us an opportunity to create commercial-based programming. Yes, we are a company. We are going to be looking for ways to raise money so that everybody can get paid for what they participate in. Anybody can earn a little extra money. I'm not guaranteed. Don't expect it. I'm just going to say it. Don't expect it to be a replacement source of income. Don't quit your day job just yet, okay? With this kind of gig, you kind of need multiple income streams in order to even come close to something like that. We'll be able to provide commercial space for people to promote their products, services, businesses, whatever. We even have services which will allow us to build merchandising stores for you. Press releases. We can help you distribute your movies, books, music, TV shows. And yes, the company will take a cut of profit that's made from it. But we will make sure anybody who jumps in on this is taken care of. So long as you don't go starting shit. No drama. And especially if I go to find out more about these sexual harassment claims I've been hearing about. Yeah, none of that. We're in this together, we work together, and yes, we may have our own arguments, but this is about coming together to help each other grow. And if anybody who's in on it now wants to break off and do their own thing, that's completely fine. They're open and encouraged to do that. You want to ride with us for a little bit, then in order to learn new stuff, that's okay. I may even start offering up courses to where you can become familiar with how to distribute your own shows like we do. Maybe on how to build websites, how to get affiliate programs so you can make a little extra money. We're here. We ain't going anywhere. And unless the world, I probably shouldn't say that. We ain't going anywhere. New partnerships coming out of the woodwork very soon. That's going to expand us to even more potential. I know some of you may have heard that Bonkers actually has a space launch. I just want to bring this up because I just found out. Apparently we're getting pushed back again to first quarter of 2023. So unfortunately we're at the mercy of SpaceX. So I mean, we're literally going to space. Basically Bald Bonkers is being included in a time capsule that's going to be put on the moon. How that's going to go with the ET situation, I don't know. But we shall see. There's a lot of amazing stuff coming up. And in order to make that happen, for the holidays, Chris and I are going to be taking a bit of a hiatus. Maybe no new shows next week because of the aftermath of Thanksgiving. We have the Christmas special on the 3rd. And we just may take a few weeks off afterwards. Not have any new shows until January 7th for the new year. So that way we can start booking up new guests, new projects, all sorts of fun stuff. Now, if Sherry, Gina, or Smith family want to, hijack the company resources to do shows, go right ahead. you have my blessing. My blessing is the one that matters. Perks of being the big dog. Just don't be boring! Make it fun. Have fun. You know, you guys are in on this as much as we are, and a lot of amazing stuff coming up. Maybe Chris and I will pop up on for other stuff. He wants to branch off and have other people do the shows, and it's just like, people come for us, man. We work better together. You know, they tried to break us up before we even started this shindig. Let's not, you know, we may venture off into our own things, but we work better together. You know, working better together. Oh, come on, I just had it. Oh, well, I'll think of it later. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Much love, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe. Happy holidays. Happy, merry, whatever the fuck you decide to celebrate. And we'll see you through the grapevine. We may just do a couple of specials here and there. You know, I'm thinking maybe a spirit box session. You know, I'll use my soundboard to patch in like a Necrophonic and an SB7, have it all going at once. Ooh, that would be fun. Maybe on air CE5, that'd be awesome. That would be. Oh. Who knows? If you have any ideas for future shows or any guests that you want us to look into, see if we can try to get on, let us know. Shoot us a message. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Whatever you do on whatever platform you're seeing this on. Much love. Stay safe. Happy holidays. And goodbye.